Well, hello, everybody. This is Michael Reeves, and just trying to bring a little bit of fun before we bring you another Stratomatic football championship game. And this game actually today features the Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles. We are playing with stock teams, so there's no draft that's involved with these clubs. So when we're going to look at the players of both of these clubs, they're going to be very recognizable. The Eagles are the Eagles in real life, and the Eagles are the Eagles today. The Bengals are who they are, right? I guess that's how you'd say that. So I guess that makes it all the more impressive that Cincinnati has made their way to the championship, and they are coached by the world-renowned Stratomatic super fanatic, Dennis Crowley. He is now playing in his third SFFRL championship. Let's see, he won 2 years ago. Last year he lost, and so he's looking to avenge that loss. A few years back, he was in another championship. So he is 1 for 3 in this 10-year lead. And he is facing off against Dave Szymanski, who is coaching the Philadelphia Eagles. This is Dave's first appearance in this SFFRL title game. This is the 11th season for this league. And again, it is a stock league team. Stock league season, excuse me. It kind of throws you off a little bit because Dennis Crowley's favorite team is the Seattle Seahawks, and his teams are almost always quarterbacked by Russell Wilson. He's a huge Seahawks mark, and to see them coaching the Bengals seems just a little crazy. I believe he actually coaches a couple of teams, so that's why he is the Bengals. And here are the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles facing off with them. Only the difference is under center, they have Carson Wentz as opposed to Nick Foles. Philadelphia started with got the opening kickoff and have driven into Cincinnati territory. They now have the ball at the Bengals 45. It's first down and 10. We're just a couple of minutes underway here in this SFFRL championship. Dave Szymanski is the Philadelphia Eagles, and he is facing off with the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, this is a stock team league, so everything is completely stock. Their cards are exactly the way they came out of the box, or of course in this case, as the computer program made its way onto our PCs. Now, second down and 5 for the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Dave Szymanski looking for his first title game. That's Wentz under center. He's looking this time for Zach Ertz. Defense guesses run. That completion is made, and it's a first down, 11-yard pickup for Zach Ertz. So Philadelphia looking very strong on this first drive. Dave Szymanski looking for his first SFFRL championship. Crowley has played, this is now his third consecutive SFFRL title game. He's won one and lost two in the 11-year existence of this league. So this is his fourth appearance in the title matchup. So that's Ryan Matthews. The Eagles have a lot of low usage running backs, but they've got some strong ones actually. And Darren Sproles, Matthews, and I believe Wendell Smallwood will see some action today too. They've got really strong run cards. So they don't have one person that can basically carry the mail. They have three of them with good cards. Here's a quick out pass. Defense guesses run. This probably has some good yardage attached to it, and it does. It's a pickup of 8, and that pass is completed to Brian Quick. I'm sorry, that was to Burton. And the tackle was made by Bontez Perfect. So now it's 3rd down and 1. Ball at the Bengals 20-yard line. We're just underway in the SFFRL Championship. Dave Szymanski with the ball. His Philadelphia Eagles are taking on Dennis Crowley and his Cincinnati Bengals. It's now 3rd and 1 at the Bengal 20. Here comes a quarterback sneak. Play is guessed right, but the Bengals keyed the wrong player. So Wentz runs up the middle and gets the largest gain on his card. He picks up 9 on a line buck. So now they have the ball at the Bengals 11, 1st and 10. Just under 10 to play here in the first quarter. Here comes a pass play to Zach Ertz, and it's caught, and it's a touchdown. So the Eagles, on their opening drive, very impressive. Just under 5 minutes it takes for them to get 6 on the board, and here comes point 7. It is good. And that's Caleb Sturgis. So the Eagles strike first in this championship title game. Philadelphia up 7-0. Now the Bengals will have their first possession of the first quarter. So under center, you have the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, and that's Jeremy Hill behind him. C.J. Uzmata, who really is more of a tight end, lines up in the blocking back formation. So that allows them to have a 2 tight end set with a very good tight end in Tyler Eifert. All-world A.J. Green on one side, and that is Brandon LaFell on the other. Here comes a run for Jeremy Hill. It's guessed wrong, and it's a big one. He breaks out for 50 yards. So on the first play of scrimmage, the Bengals come out hard charging on that end run, guessed wrong. Jeremy Hill has a very chunky run card. And as a result, he's very much hit or miss. But when you hit snake eyes or box scars, you get a good result there. A 74-yard run on 2 and a long gain on 12. So a big 50-yard pickup for Jeremy Hill. And there's another run, that again to Jeremy Hill. No linebackers in the zone. He picks up 6 on the play. So, 2nd down and 4. Second down and 4, ball at the Philadelphia Eagles 19-yard line. We're about to the midway point here of the first quarter in this SFFRL title game. Cincinnati Bengals, coached by Dennis Crowley, against Dave Szymanski. That's another run for Jeremy Hill. He picks up a few and gets a 1st down there. So 1st down and 10 for the Bengals. Eagles scored on their opening drive. Bengals trying to counter. A nice start for Jeremy Hill, 60 yards on 3 carries. Of course, 50 of those came on one big toss sweep. So I got the blocking back I formation in. Philadelphia counters 3-3-5. Ball at the Eagles 15. Bengals trailing 7-0, but on the doorstep. Here comes an inside run. It's guessed wrong, but he only picks up a yard. And again, that speaks to the very much hit or miss nature of a Jeremy Hill card. You would expect when your play is guessed wrong and you only wind up with 1 yard, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but that is Jeremy Hill's card. You take the good with the bad. And here's a second down pass. Andy Dalton, good. And a first down. That pass was completed to tight end Tyler Eford. So now the Eagles are trying to keep the Bengals out of the end zone, but Bengals look really strong on this opening drive, as did Philadelphia on their first drive. Now the ball is at the 5. So now the Bengals have a full house formation, and actually this is the tight end formation. And so here's a quick out. Defense guesses run. Andy Dalton is forced to run. He picks up 7 yards, and that is a touchdown. Actually, that's Giovanni Bernard. Sorry, I thought that was a forced to run. That was actually Bernard goes around the end. Defense guesses run. But on the defensive card, he picks up the yards necessary to get the touchdown. So Bernard's 5-yard score makes the score 7-7 in this SFFRL championship tilt. So the Eagles decide to take it out of the end zone, wind up picking up 1 yard extra on the play. So the Eagles will set up shop here with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. Both clubs scored on their opening drive. It's tied at 7. Eagles looked terrific on their first drive, scoring in 5 minutes, as did the Eagles. The Eagles and the Bengals both scored in 5 minutes on their opening drives. Both of them look very solid. So let's see what Dave Szymanski can do here with this second drive. Here comes an off-tackle run. It is guessed right, but Matthews is able to pick up 3. And it's now second down and 7. Matthews has 4 carries on the day for 24 yards. We'll see 3 running backs tote the mail in this game. It'll be Ryan Matthews. It'll be Darren Sproles, and also we'll see a little bit of Wendell Smallwood, I'm sure, in this contest. So we are using the card set for the 2016 season, as everybody is eagerly anticipating the upcoming drafts for many of these leagues that we're all playing in. We are, like a washcloth, we are retching out the last few drops out of the 2016 season, as many of these championships, the summertime championships, are coming to a close. It was a nice call by Smolinski, threw deep. It was guessed wrong, but Agador was unable to make the play, and so it's third down. Not a super strong guessed wrong long pass card for Agador, but it was worth a shot. Defense guessed wrong. Just didn't get the break. Now it's third down and 7. Ball at the Eagles 29. Game knotted at 7. SFFRL championship on the line. Dave Szymanski's first visit to the SFFRL championship. The league has been in existence for 11 years. It's a stock team league. Crowley has played in the title game. This is his 4th appearance. He's played in the last 3 title games. He's won 1 and lost 2. And here comes another deep shot for Agador. This one's guessed right, and in this case, there are sacks. So Wentz is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. There's your first sack of the game, and that was Riley Dunlap. So the Eagles will have to turn this one over. A 3-and-out on their second drive. The first drive led to a touchdown. Their second drive stalls after 3 plays, and they'll give the ball back to the Bengals. Here's a punt. It's just so-so by Donnie Jones, 41-yard kick. And that is Alex Erickson, at the time a rookie. He's now a second-year player for the Bengals. He calls a fair catch. He does have a fumble on his card and a 24-year pickup on 2. He has a 12 long game, but that actually might be on the Eagles card. And so here we go. 4 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. This is the Bengals' second possession. They scored on their first. It is knotted at 7. Dennis Crowley and his Bengals facing off against Dave Szymanski and the Philadelphia Eagles. There's a pickup of 5 for Jeremy Hill. I'm sorry, that was Andy Dalton. So Andy Dalton picks up 5 on the play. That was an end run. Or was it? That actually may be a drop-off. Yeah, it was. Excuse me, that was a pass. So Andy Dalton completes a pass to Hill. Let's pick up a 5, so it's now second down and 5. Here comes another screen pass. This one is guest pass, but he picks up 6, and he was double teamed on the play too. So Jeremy Hill with a fine catch and move the chains. First down for the Bengals. Ball at their own 46. 3:18 to go here in the first quarter. Game knotted at 7. Eagles have consistently played 3-3-5 in this contest. Here's a nice pass to Hook to Hill. Another 13-yard pickup on the play. White die 6 rule, linebacker in the zone. Plays it a 6. I didn't see if he moved him or not. He may have moved him on that play. Anyway, it was listed as no man in the zone. And a pickup of 13 for Jeremy Hill. Dalton is perfect so far, 4 for 4 for 33 yards. Jeremy Hill has been the bulk of the offense so far for the Bengals. More than 60 yards rushing and 24 yards receiving. And he's going to get the ball again here on a pitch out. It's guessed wrong, and that's a pickup of 7. So as you can see on Jeremy Hill's card, on a guessed wrong play, you have on a 7, the most consistent roll that you're going to get is only a 3. And on 8, you only get a 1. And on a 10, you get a 0. So again, this is the very definition of a chunky card, because you also look at a 2 and you get 50, and an 11 and a 12, you get a short gain and a long gain. So very much hit or miss with Jeremy Hill, but so far Hill has been very solid. That's 5 carries now for 68, of course, buoyed by the 50-yard pickup he had on the Bengals' first drive. It's now second down and 3 at the Eagles' 34. Bengals driving, 2:06 on a running clock here in the first quarter. Game is knotted at 7. Dennis Crowley has played in 3 consecutive championships now in this league. He's won 1 and lost 1. He's 1-3 career. Dave Szymanski coaching the Eagles, first appearance in the SFFRL championship. Here's a quarterback sneak for Andy Dalton. He picks up 3 and gets the first down. So with 1:30 to go, the Eagles now have watched the Bengals get into scoring position with the ball at the 31. Eagles having a hard time stopping this Bengal club. Touchdown drive on their first, and the second looks very promising. Eagles again in the 3-3-5. Here's the off tackle. It's only a pickup of 2. Very tempting to run up against the 3-3-5, especially if there's not very much movement from the Eagles coach as far as putting some people in the box to support. He runs 4, 5, and 6 across that front line. 5, 6, and 0 in that linebacker core. He also has a 0 zeros at the corners. Wow. So that was a run. It was guessed right. Nice call by Saminsky. None of the defensive backs. Well, that's intriguing. None of the defensive backs for the Eagles are rated. They're all zeros with the exception of the strong safety who's guarding Tyler Eifert. So I think the temptation for Dennis would be, let's just throw all over the place and see what happens. But so far he's resisted, and for good reason. He's gotten some nice pickups from Jeremy Hill. It's now 3rd down, and into the game comes Rex Burkhead. And he's going to run. Here's an off-tackle run for Burkhead. Defense guesses pass, and understandably so. He's only able to pick up 2 on the play, however. It was on the defensive card. And it's now 4th and 6 from the 27. That is Randy Bullock for the Bengals. And he was an interesting choice. He's on one of my other clubs. He didn't have very many games that he kicked for the Bengals. In fact, they had several kickers during the 2016 season, but Randy wound up with more kicks than anybody else, and so he wound up making the club. And he also is the Bengals kicker for this last season. Crowley is going to decide to kick this one here. It's a 44-yard attempt, and it is good. 2 through 7, 11, and 12. Chance for Burlick to hit it. About a 60% chance, and he puts it through, maybe a little bit more. And he puts it through. So the Bengals have now taken the lead on their second possession. They get a field goal, and it's now 10-7. That kick was 9 yards deep in the end zone, and Saminsky decided to take it out once again. It was returned by Kenyon Barner, yet another Eagles running back. His card doesn't look super strong, and you're risking being stopped short of the 25. I don't even see a long gain on this card. That's kind of a dangerous play. Anything 7 and below means you're going to have the ball inside. In fact, anything 6 and below means you're going to have the ball inside the 20 when that kick is 9 yards deep. There's a pass to Ertz, and it's completed. Defense was guess pass, but they double-team Matthews. So nice pickup on the play, and another first down for the Eagles. On their second drive, they scored a touchdown on their first drive. On their second, it was stalled after a 3-and-out. Dennis Crowley countered with a field goal, and that's where we find ourselves now. Bengals up 10-7. Eagles began play with the kick, so the Bengals will get it at the second half. Just a minute here into the second quarter. That Bengal field goal was actually in the second quarter, so now they lead 10-7. Saminsky is going to call a crossing pattern to Jordan Matthews, and on Wentz's card, that is good for 11 yards and another first down. So that's 2 first downs on this drive. Wentz is 7 for 8 for 80 yards so far and a touchdown. That was Ryan Matthews, or was that Jordan Matthews? I think that was Jordan Matthews. Anyway, here is a run for Ryan Matthews, and he picks up 3. Guessed right by the defense. Still able to get some positive yardage there as the Eagles have made their way into Bengal territory for the second time here in the first half. Ball at the 42. Running clock, 13 and change. Two tight end set for the Eagles. Defense counters 3-3-5. Here comes a quick pass to Burton, and he picks up some significant yards on that play. 13 yards. White dice 6 rule comes into play. 13-yard pickup for Trey Burton. That's his second. No, that's actually his 4th reception. So he's been busy. 4 catches for 35 yards. He is the secondary tight end. Zach Ertz, in real life, gets a lot of the pub. In fact, Burton is guarded by, I believe, I have to see who's guarding him, actually. And there's an inside run for Ryan Matthews. He gets a short gain on the defensive card. Wow, short gain 7. My goodness gracious. So a 17-yard pickup for Ryan Matthews. We are playing with stock league cards, so that means their defensive cards belong to the Bengals just as they came out of the box. They run 4-5-4 up the middle. They don't look too awful bad, but a short gain 7. That must mean they have a poor rush defense. Again, countering 3-3-5. So I believe this is a league where basically you just can run out any defense that you want. And there's a pass to Green Beckham, but pass falls short, and it's 2nd down and 10. Ball at the Bengals 12. So at the very least, it looked like the Eagles are going to tie this one up. But obviously, they'd like to find the end zone on this drive and retake the lead. They're trailing 10-7 here in this SFFRL championship. Dave Szymanski, in his first SFFRL title game, Dennis Crowley has played in 4 of them, including the last 3. He's 1-2 all time. Eight of 10 so far for Carson Wentz. He has a touchdown. He has thrown for 83 yards. Good numbers. And there's another pass to Burton. Defense double teams 2 other players, and it is good. He picks up 12, and that is a touchdown. Trey Burton has been outstanding here in this first half. Wentz has completed 9 throws out of 11, and Burton has 5 of those catches for 47 yards, and now he has a touchdown. And Sturgis puts the extra point through. It's now 14-10. Interesting, the difference is when you play in stock team leagues versus draft leagues, and right away you can see zeros on the field and some poor defensive cards for both of these clubs. You know, with the ability in a 24-team league or a 28-team league, especially a 24, you hardly see any zeros unless you're running into a team that is in a complete meltdown or rebuild. Even 28-team leagues, maybe you'll see a 0 occasionally, but again, these are the real teams that lined up in 2016, so warts and all, you have to deal with the good and the bad. And I think as a result, you're going to see some numbers that might be a little bit more reflective of the NFL numbers, in particular quarterbacking. I've played in so many of these draft leagues where especially the average per catch was not quite what it mirrored in the NFL. The quarterback ratings were not even close to what they were in the real NFL because there's not a week off. Basically, you're facing, as a quarterback, you're facing 4s, 5s, and 6s in the secondary and upgraded defenses as a result. In fact, some of the leagues we play in basically just have average defense stock cards throughout. And then there are other leagues that are called double counting leagues, where basically you total up the point totals of the linebackers and the secondary. And basically we have a chart that determines if a team is going to have excellent, good, average, poor, or very poor run or pass cards, depending on secondary, depending on defensive line and linebackers. It's kind of a formula that a lot of these leagues have used for years, but this really gives you a true essence of what a team is like, and you have to kind of coach around that. It's a little bit more cat and mouse, but with the Eagles having 3 members of their secondary out of 4 with zeros, again, the temptation would be there to just throw, but so far, Dennis Crowley has kept a lot of this game on the ground, and he's been successful. He scored in his first 2 drives, and the Bengals already are in Eagles territory on this 3rd drive. They have the ball to Philadelphia 48. 9 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter of this SFFRL title tilt. Bengals up 14-10. Dave Szymanski, coaching the Philadelphia Eagles, the real-life Super Bowl champions in 2016. That's the card set that we're playing in, against the Cincinnati Bengals, who I believe finished with 11 wins in the regular season in this Stratomatic League. I live in Eastern Kentucky, and so I guess our local team would be the Cincinnati Bengals. Marvin Lewis has been the longtime coach for those Bengals. In fact, he's one of the longest tenured coaches in the NFL, and it seems like every year he's one of those coaches who's rumored to get the axe. It's a club that basically makes the playoffs, but that's about it. It's almost always a consistent 8-8, 9-7. Maybe you'll see an occasional 10-6 in there, just enough to get to the playoffs, but not enough to make it beyond the first round. And a lot of shade thrown at him, a lot of shade thrown at the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. But their defense is going to be very, very solid this year. We'll see what Joe Mixon can do in his 2nd season. Dalton has weapons, no doubt about it. But for whatever reason, they've not been able to put it together. And so I think the reason you see a lot of blame thrown at Marvin Lewis, the team doesn't seem to be progressing under his leadership, but the club thinks a lot of him. And so, again, he still remains at the Bengals helm. But you take a look at the talent that's on this team, and Dennis Crowley was able to wrangle a SFFRL championship bid with this team. So they clearly have some pieces. Here's an off-tackle run for Giovanni Bernard. It is going to be a big one. He busts it out for 33 yards. That was on the defensive card. No linebacker was moved up into that off-tackle zone. And so Bernard picks up 33 on that carry, and it's now 1st and goal to go. Bengals have the ball at the Eagle 8. 7.5 to go here in the first half. They're trailing 14-10. Full house formation. That's Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard in the backfield. And that's Hewitt lining up as a fullback. He's not a blocking back, tight end. He can run. Here's a pitch to Jeremy Hill. He makes it way out around the side. He does pick up a few yards there, 7 in fact, but he stopped 1 yard short of the goal. It's now 2nd and goal to go. Ball at the 1. Bengals once again on the doorstep. This is the 3rd drive for Cincinnati, and they've scored on each drive a touchdown on their opening possession, and their last drive culminated in a 44-yard field goal by Randy Bullock. 2 shots to get it in, probably 3 if you know Dennis Crowley, who loves going forward on 4. Nice call by Saminsky. He keyed Jeremy Hill on that run, and he has stopped a yard short of the line of scrimmage. So it's now 3rd down and goal, ball at the 2. You have A.J. Green there on the wing, guarded by a 0. So the temptation would be to try to throw this one. But let's see if Dennis stays solid and just goes straight up the middle. Kind of hard-pressed to go up the middle. Consider you're staying at a 6 nose tackle and a 6 linebacker. A 4 on the other side. Maybe he goes off tackle right behind that 6 blocker. And he does. That is a touchdown. And it's a sneak for Andy Dalton. It's on his card, actually. Guessed wrong. Pickup of 2. Defense thought, like I did, that maybe we were going to see a pass there. But Dennis Crowley continues to run, and it has paid dividends. As we have a very high-scoring affair, 17-14 here in the first quarter. The Eagles now have the ball at their own 35 after that nice pickup of 32 yards by Kenyon Barner. They'll start out at their own 35. Plenty of time, 5:42. They have all 3 timeouts. Very important that they score here because the Bengals will have the ball in the second half. There's only been 1 punt so far in this contest. So this is the 7th drive. The previous 6 drives, 5 have culminated in touchdowns or field goals. So pretty decent offensive showing here for both squads, but it's important that the Eagles put some additional points here on the board before the half. Here's a screen to Ryan Matthews. Defense is double teaming Trey Burton, and it's going to be a nice pickup, 13 yards. The linebacker in the zone was unable to make the play. It's a linebacker 4 in that zone. The white guy came up 5. Ryan Matthews picks up 13 yards. So up and down, both of these clubs go. Up and down the field. Eagles have the ball at the 48. 5 minutes on a running clock. Matthews again in the backfield. We haven't seen very much of his running back counterparts, Darren Sproles or Wendell Smallwood. There's a run for Matthews. It's a pickup of 7 on the play. He now has 51 yards. As the Eagles are now in Bengals territory. Ball at the Cincinnati 45. Philadelphia trailing 17-14. The winner will take home the SFFRL crown. Dave Szymanski looking for his first. Dennis Crowley looking for his second. This is the 11th year of this stock team league. So Szymanski with the 2 tight end set, which we've pretty much seen throughout the contest. Now we'll see one of the additional members of that 4-headed monster. That is Kenyon Barner, a limited usage running back. It's guessed wrong, and he is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. He rolled a 5, which never is any good on the run card. And so now it's 3rd down and 3. Ball at the Bengals 45. 3:54 here in the first quarter. So a guessed wrong card for Barnier looks really solid with the exception of that 5, and unfortunately some bad luck there. It's now 3rd down and 3. Ryan Matthews is back in the backfield. Will he look to run here just once more to get this first down? It's an interesting call on both clubs. Here comes a pass to Jordan Matthews. Defense guarding, double teaming actually, Trey Burton. And Matthews is able to make the play. This is on his card, so that's a pickup of 14. So that's a big first down there. Dennis Crowley stops him. And you got a decision to make there for the Eagles. Ball at midfield. It would have been kind of dangerous going forward on 4th down, but Matthews is able to make this drive count. 14-yard pickup on the play. Pretty solid. Not super great, but not bad there on your guessed right card. Only a 4, 6, and 7 do not end up in a catch. Defense decided not to double team him. Instead went with the hot hand Trey Burton. Szymanski crossed him up. Here's an inside run for Matthews. He is keyed, but it's on the defensive card, but no matter. It's only a pickup of 1. Left tackle was not able to make that block. White die 5, he's only a 4. So 2nd down and 1. 2:42 to go. Eagles have the ball at the Bengals 30. 8 carries so far for 52 yards for Matthews. And there's an off-tackle run for Darren Sproles. And again, 2nd play in a row that Dennis Crowley has keyed the correct running back. And this time it is on the offensive card's running back, and that is a loss of 1. So a nice 2 calls in a row by Crowley. So there's 2 consecutive runs that are stopped, and now we're back to 3rd down. Bengals have a pretty decent pass rush here. They have the lone sack of the game. So 3rd down and 10, it's possible that Szymanski could be thinking, let's play for field position. And maybe we do a draw here to Sproles just to get a few yards and line up a Caleb Sturgis kick to tie it up before the half. Because a sack here would take it out of field goal range. 2 tight end sets. That is Darren Sproles in the backfield. Defense again counters 3-3-5. Wow, the Bengals are bringing the house here. Here comes an off-tackle draw. There is a linebacker in the zone, and it is a pickup of 3. I like the call. But Dennis Crowley was bringing the farm there. You throw a flat pass, and that could have led to a lot of trouble. I believe he even brought a safety blitz there on that play. So here comes that kick to Caleb Sturgis, and it's not going to work. The kick flies wide left. Bad break for the Eagles. 2 through 7, 11, and 12. And it wound up at 9. So the Bengals will take over in really good field position here. Ball to 35. 1:52 to go. Bengals have all 3 of their timeouts. They're leading by 3, and they will get the ball at the half. The Eagles have not been able to stop the Bengals on any of their 3 drives so far. Here's an off-tackle run for Jeremy Hill to pick up a 4. No panic with Dennis Crowley. Plenty of timeouts remaining. Probably do the hurry up here. Keep their team on the field and try to preserve a little bit of clock, and they do. 12 carries for 80 yards for Jeremy Hill, 50 of those coming on 1 big run on their first drive of the game. 1:30, running clock. Bengals up 17-14, ball at their own 39. Bengals have all 3 timeouts left. All-World A.J. Green has had a very, very quiet game so far. That's another Jeremy Hill run. It's on the defensive card. Just a short gain on that play. And it's now 3rd and 3. Again, Bengals still in the hurry up. 1:07 to go. Bengals get a first down here. We'll likely see a timeout unless the ball carrier is able to make his way out of bounds. Only so many times you can run that hurry up before you seriously have to start taking some timeouts off the board. Here comes another run for Jeremy Hill. He picks up only 2 on the play, so now it's 4th down and 1. So Dennis Crowley has a couple of decisions to make here. If he calls timeout, he's going to go for it. So we'll know what he's thinking here momentarily. If he doesn't, oh, there it is. He does not. He lets the clock run, and Philadelphia also lets the clock run. So that is Huber. This is the first drive that the Bengals did not score. So this is Huber's first kick, and he kicks it out of bounds to the Eagles' 18. And that's one of the so 7 ticks go off the clock there, and that puts the clock at 30 seconds. The Eagles do have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. But one wonders if they'll just take a couple of knees here and get to the half. They cannot take it down that way, depending on if Dennis Crowley's going to call timeout. If Crowley calls 3 timeouts, they will have to punt the ball here. They've got a full house. Well, actually, he hasn't called anything just yet. That's what the computer coach is recommending, full house. But let's see if they're daring here and try to throw downfield. They do have all 3 of their timeouts, and they've lined up that way. That's Darren Sproles in the backfield. That's a 4-wide set. I said earlier that the Bengals have a strong pass defense. I did not realize that was actually this upcoming season that they're going to have Carl Larson. And Dunlap is a great speed rusher, but on this team, it's kind of a lackluster pass rush. Here comes a hitch pass to Hagedorn, and the pass falls incomplete. So it's 2nd down. Ball at the 18. 22 seconds to go here in the first half. Eagles trailing 17-14 to the Cincinnati Bengals. Dave Szymanski's first appearance in the SFFRL championship. He is coaching the Eagles. That's Dennis Crowley. In this 11-year league, Dennis Crowley has appeared in the finals 4 times, including the last 3. We are playing with a stock team league, so the Bengals are the Bengals, the Eagles are the Eagles. Personnel matches everything from the 2016 card set. Here comes a deep shot. There's 1 man in the zone. This pass is going to Darren Sproles, and the pass falls incomplete. On Carson Wentz's card, you only have a scant chance of completing a pass. In fact, it's only on a 2. And that pass falls incomplete. In fact, it's a little dangerous because at 11, it's a better than even odds that she's going to throw a pick. So now it's 3rd down and 10. Ball at the 18. And are they going to try one more deep shot here? Or are they going to try a short pass? At this point, it's either take a knee or go deep. Can't really throw anything short because you only have the end of this play. Even if he calls timeout, there's only going to be 8 seconds left. So there's time enough for 3 plays here, but they've got to get this first down to have any chance of extending this second quarter, excuse me. So again, we've got the 4-wide set. That's Green Beckham who has checked into the game, along with Turner at the wideout. Defense again counters 3-3-5. And Wentz will take a knee. And the Bengals will call timeout. So there will be a punt here. So Jones is probably going to try to kick this thing out of bounds and give the Bengals only one more shot. Certainly they don't want to return here. And that's a good kick, but the ball does not go out of bounds. So the Bengals will have a chance to return this one. But it's a fair catch by Erickson. So with the ball at the 37, one play left to go here before the half. High formation for the Bengals. So are we going to see a deep shot here to A.J. Green? One thinks they're going to probably double team Green. I don't know what LaFell's longest gain is, but you have to think they're going to shadow A.J. Green here. Actually, no. And it's an off-tackle run for Jeremy Hill, so that's going to be the end of it here. So we now have gotten to the first half, the close of the first half, the curtain, if you will, for this SFFRL title game, and the Eagles are trailing the Cincinnati Bengals 17-14. Dennis Crowley, coach of the Bengals, is looking for his second SFFR title. He's played in the title game the last 3 years. He is 1-2 in career SFFRL title games. Dave Szymanski, this is his first appearance in the title game. He is coaching the Philadelphia Eagles, the real-life Super Bowl champions of this past season. In the card set, I have to correct myself, the card set champions were actually I had to think about it for a moment, the New England Patriots. But in this new set, again, if Dave Szymanski takes this next set, I'd have to think they're going to be super strong at that point. A lot of zeros in this defensive secondary. And I thought, wow, that's interesting for a Super Bowl team to get in there, but you get kind of locked into thinking 2016 and 2017 season. Stratomatic has not released the 2017 card set, but they are going to do that this week. It's August 2018 when we're making this recording. So the Eagles will have a much stronger team, so that makes it all the more impressive that both of these clubs, who didn't really make a lot of noise in 2016, are able to find their way into a stock team championship. So it says a lot about their coaching. So they're sending a couple notes back and forth. It says he needs a couple of breaks here, so let's take a look at some statistics. So again, the Bengals are up 17-14. They're going to get the ball here in the second half. Initially, both clubs scored on their opening drive. Philadelphia struck first with a pass from Wentz to Zach Ertz. The Bengals scored on their initial drive, picking on a 5-yard run by Giovanni Bernard to knot the game at 7. The Eagles were forced on a 3-and-out, and Cincinnati was able to drive for a field goal, a 44-yarder by Randy Bullock. Eagles countered with a Trey Burton touchdown to make it 14-10, and the Bengals came back on a 2-yard run by Andy Dalton, and that's where we find ourselves now 17-14. It's obvious the Bengals have decided we're going to run. We're going to do everything we can to keep this ball on the ground. And kind of counterintuitive if you think about it, with a lackluster, very much lackluster Bengals secondary, with a lackluster Eagles secondary, zeros dotted throughout the field. The Bengals have instead opted to run. Dalton only threw 5 passes in that first half. As a matter of fact, he's 5 of 5 for 48 yards. You have the all-world wide receiver A.J. Green, who has not touched the ball. In fact, all of these passes have been quite short. Jeremy Hill, running back, and Tyler Eifert, a tight end. So they played very conservative. It's hard to argue. They're up 17-14. There you see Jeremy Hill, the big star of the first half. 15 carries for 86 yards, a little deceptive because you can see a 50-yard pickup. Had it not been for that, we're talking 14 carries for 26 yards, but that is the very definition of a chunky run card. Giovanni Bernard, 2 carries, again, 38 yards, 33 of them coming on one big pickup that led to the Bengals' last score that put them ahead 17-14. So big plays have been the big story of this first half, particularly on the ground. For the Eagles, quite the opposite. They've thrown 15 passes this first half and completed 11, so Wentz has been very sharp. He does have 2 touchdowns in this first half. Ryan Matthews has 8 carries for 52 yards. And Trey Burton, big story here in this first half as well. 5 catches for 47 yards. The Eagles' second tight end has a touchdown, as does his tight end counterpart, Zach Ertz. So again, the offense has been very solid for both clubs. The Eagles have only punted the ball one time. Excuse me, the Eagles have punted the ball twice. The Bengals have punted it once. So that's our halftime score, 17-14. The Bengals will start out here in the second half. And it looks like the teams will start up here just momentarily. So we'll be with you in a little bit. So we're going to pick things back up here with 13 minutes to go here in the second half of this SFFRL championship. Dennis Crowley and a single Cincinnati Bengals with the ball at the Eagles 38. So they've been successful in these first few plays and now find themselves once again in Eagle territory. Bengals up 17-14 in this championship game. Dennis Crowley looking for his second crown. Dave Saminsky looking for his first. The league has been in existence for 11 years. It is a stock team league. We are playing with 2016 clubs. These are the real-life Bengals against the real-life Eagles. I've erroneously mentioned that this is the Eagle team that won the Super Bowl. It's actually the 2017 club that won the Super Bowl. Neither of these two teams in real-life 2016 seasons made much of a dent in the playoffs. Here's a pass for Andy Dalton, who is 7 of 7 so far in this contest for 67 yards. Bengals have played very conservative throughout, keeping the ball on the ground. Far more passes than runs. Here's a good pickup by Giovanni Bernard on his carry. That's 6 yards. Ball at the Eagles 27, second down and 4. 12 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Bengals again in scoring position. Up 17-14, looking for more. They've just done enough defensively to limit the Eagles to 2 scores. The Bengals are now looking for their 4th score, up 17-14. Here's another run for Giovanni Bernard. It's guessed wrong as the defense is double-teaming A.J. Green, who does not have a catch. Didn't have a catch in the first half. It's guessed wrong, but he dials up a 5, and so that's no gain on the play. And so it's now third down. And A.J. Green does not have a catch still in this contest. All-pro wide receiver, no catches. Guess he hasn't needed him. 3rd down and 4, ball at the 27. Both clubs have played 3 through 5 throughout. 2 tight end set. That's Uzma and Tyler Eifert. Now we have Rex Burkhead in the backfield. He's a limited carry back, but I believe he has some short gains on his card if guessed wrong. So you don't want to sleep on that. It's just not a given that this is going to be a pass. Got a strong tackle 5, a really good 6 right guard. But the right guard is next to a 0 rated tackle. And there's a pass to LaFell. Defense guesses run. Wow. So a flat pass is good. 415 yards. And it's a 1st down. So now the ball is at the 12-yard line. I don't know if they have the checkdowns in this or not, or the scrambles. I haven't quite noticed that. They may not have that in this league. We'll have to take a look at the rule set. Here's an off-tackle run for Burkhead. A nice gain of 5 on the play. That's his 2nd carry, I believe. No, actually, that's 6 carries for him now, 43 yards. So I missed the first couple minutes of the second half. He may have had some short gains that I didn't quite see. So 6 carries for 42. The Bengals have just dominated on the ground. And there's a run play, but it's snuffed out big time in the backfield. Jeremy Hill has stopped 3 yards short of the line of scrimmage, so now it's 3rd down and 8. This is an obvious passing down. Rex Burkhead, they do have a chance to get a 1st down here, actually. It's 3rd and 8, ball at the 10. It would be hard-pressed to see a run here. Bengals up 17-14. They'd hate to settle for a field goal to look so strong on this drive and have it sputter here at the end. Wow, the defense guesses run, and that's going to almost be an automatic catch. That's a touchdown. So A.J. Green makes his first catch of the game, 17-yard pickup on the card. He only needed 10. So that is a score for Andy Dalton, who is a perfect 9 of 9 for 92 yards. And the extra point is blocked. Bullock's kick is blocked. And so that puts up an odd score of 23-14. But regardless, the Eagles are down by 2 scores now. Nice return on the play from one of those reserve running backs. That's Wendell Smallwood. Pickup of 25. So now the Eagles find themselves down 9. Obviously, lots of time to play here. 9 minutes to go. But each drive is becoming a little more inherent to get some points on the board. It's kind of important here for these drives to wind up with some scores. You're already down by 9. You're down 2 scores. And the Eagles have not shown much of an inclination to stop the Bengals on any of their drives. In fact, they only have 1 punt. So this is not a club you want to fall behind. Yeah, there's a pass to Ertz. It's guessed wrong, so a nice pickup of 11. And that'll move the chains. 1st and 10 at the 38 for Philadelphia. They're trailing 23-14 in this SFFRL title game. This is Dave Saminsky, head coach of the Eagles. First appearance here in the SFFRL championship. Facing off against all-world Dennis Crowley. His 4th appearance in this SFFRL championship. He's won 1 and lost 2. He's been in the last 3, counting this one. Here's a screen pass to Ryan Matthews. It's guessed wrong, and that's a pickup of 10. So again, the ball moves and moves quickly. The ball's at the Eagle 48 now. With 7.5 to go here in the 3rd quarter of this SFFRL title game. That's Matthews again in the backfield. That was his 2nd catch of the game. Wentz, solid. 13 of 17 for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. Neither of these clubs have turned the ball over. So it's been very clean. We do not play with penalties. There's a pass to Ryan Matthews. He was double-teamed by the defense. That's the 2nd double-team catch that we've seen. 1 for each club. That was completed. Both of them were to halfbacks. I recall the defense double-teamed Jeremy Hill on a play earlier, but he was able to make the reception. In this case, Ryan Matthews is able to haul it in. Not a huge pickup. 2nd down and 5. That's 3 catches now for Ryan. And again, Carson Wentz, sharp, 14 of 48 for 148. There's a button hook pass. Again, wow, another correct double team. Sproles is not able to make the catch. Interesting that Ryan Matthews, when comparing him to Darren Sproles, who a lot of people would believe would be more of a third down back and therefore would have double team catches on his card, he doesn't have any. Ryan Matthews does. So that's kind of curious. It's now 3rd down and 5 with the ball at the Bengal 47. And this is an important 3rd down here. Eagles already down 2 scores. Here's a pass to Jordan Matthews. He's double teamed, but that pass falls incomplete. The pass attempt to Darren Sproles falls incomplete. I think he checked down to him. I believe the pass was initially intended for Jordan Matthews. Eagles don't take chances. They decide to kick it, but it's now imperative that they're going to figure out a way to stop this Bengal club. It better be soon. They're already down by 9. And Crowley knows how to play with the lead. He's already put the seed in his mind that Dalton's not going to throw unless absolutely necessary. But run after run after run, at some point you got to look at that A.J. Green matchup. Defended by a 0. Brandon LaFell defended by a 0. Jeremy Hill defended by a 0. When you run that I formation, though, you do get the benefit of having an extra safety to bring up the double team. And he's been using that. A lot of it's been on A.J. Green, and A.J. Green has not seen the ball very much in this contest. 1 catch for a touchdown on their last drive. That was a screen pass to Jeremy Hill that picks up 8. And that was the white die linebacker rule where if you roll a 6, that linebacker has to be a 6 no matter the throw, or it's interpreted as 0 man in the zone when it's on the defensive card. So that's an automatic completion and a pickup of 8. There's an inside run for Bernard. Defense again double teams A.J. Green. 2nd and 2 seems like an ideal situation to throw the ball deep, but Eagles were going to have none of that. And Cincinnati again stays conservative with a run. That's 4 carries for Bernard for 43 yards. Hill has close to 20 carries himself, and I believe Burkhead has 6. So that's nearly 30 carries for the Bengals. That's a lot. Wow, that's a lot. Dalton has thrown only 10 passes, so 75% of the calls have been runs. That is not modern NFL, to say the least, but it's worked. Now, in this case, the Bengals catch a break. That's a run called correctly, yet he still picks up 6. If you look on that very sketchy Jeremy Hill card, when you guess right, you're bound to get literally nothing there. But there are a few rolls where you do pick up some yards, and he just happens to find him on that play. And 6 on the play. So a win for the offense there. 2nd down and 4 with the ball at the Bengal 31. Clock is moving, 4:30. Not a factor just yet. But a touchdown here would do some significant damage to the Eagles. They're already trailing by 9. Bengals have missed an extra point. So even if they do get a touchdown here, assuming that Crowley decides to kick it for 2, they'll still be down 2 scores. Here's an inside run for Bernard, and he is able to pick up the first down on the play, gain a 6, move the chains. Running behind that strong right guard. White die was a 4. Anytime that right guard reading is going to pop up, he's going to be able to get that first down. Unless he has a 3 wide set, and then you would see a diminished rating on that number. But in this case, it's not. I formation, give him the first down. 5 carries now for Bernard for 49 yards. Here's a pass to Tyler Eifert. It's caught, but he stopped 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So that's a good start for the Eagles. Got to start getting the Bengals off the field here pretty soon. Bengals are munching clock. You add a score to that, and Eagles are going to be in some trouble. 2nd down and 12. Ball at the Bengals 35. Again, all-world A.J. Green. 1 catch for a touchdown. Dalton, conservative, 11 for 11. Perfect on the day for 98 yards. Here's a slant pass to Efert, and the pass falls incomplete. So now we have seen our first, finally, incompletion from the Red Rocket. He's 11 of 12, Andy Dalton. Really more of a game manager than a game changer when it comes to quarterbacking. And he's done exactly what he needed to do today, and that's hand the ball off for the most part. Not too many tricky third down conversions, except that one. Well, actually, yeah, that touchdown was a third down play, so that was a big throw. It was on the receiver card, as it turns out, so A.J. Green really did the work on that. So 3rd down and 12. Undoubtedly, the Bengals are going to have to put this one into the air. So let's see if they move A.J. Green over the double team on the A.J. Green. Maybe double team Tyler Eifert here. Well, there's an off-tackle run. How about that? But he's stopped. There we go. So that is only a 2-yard pickup for Burkhead. So again, ultra conservative for Dennis Crowley. He's going to punt this ball back to the Eagles. It's a nice one from Kevin Huber. The Cincinnati Bearcat turned Cincinnati Bengal. That's a 55-yard kick. And it's a nice return for Darren Sproles, who takes it back 15 yards. So a net of 40. The Bengals will take over the Eagles. They'll take over with the ball on the 23. With 2:06 to go here in the 3rd quarter of the SFFRL title game. Dave Szymanski is coaching the Philadelphia Eagles. He is up against Dennis Crowley with the Cincinnati Bengals. Crowley has played in this title game 4 times. This is his 4th appearance. He's won 1 and lost 2. Dave Szymanski has not played in this title game. Here is a pass for Troy Burton, and the pass ball is incomplete. It was on the receiver card. Just an average receiver card for Trey Burton, which is to be expected. He's the 2nd tight end for this club. So that flat pass goes for no gain. 2nd down and 10, ball to 23. Carson Wentz so far, 14 of 21 for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. Neither of these clubs have turned the ball over. No interceptions, no fumbles. Clean sheet all around. We do not play with penalties here. And there's a deep shot to Agador. There's nobody in the zone, but the pass falls incomplete. It's on the receiver card, and Agador does not have a very strong, guess wrong, long gain card, only on 2 and 5. And now it's 3rd down and 10. This is a big 3rd down conversion. Again, time not too much of a factor here, but we are whittling away the 3rd quarter. Bengals were up 17-14 heading into the 2nd half. They put 6 on the board, had a blocked extra point, and they find themselves up 23-14. In good shape here. If they can get them off the field on this play, then we're going to see the Bengals munch some more clock. So the Eagles, this is a not must convert, but they sure would love to have this one. This drive is stalled at their own 23. Here's a deep shot for Darren Sproles. There is a free safety in that zone, but it's a long gain. Oh my gosh, look at this. Darren Sproles is racing all the way to the 6-yard line. What a break for the Eagles. Pass was caught by Darren Sproles. The only reading on the offensive card is a 2, and that's what he dialed up. So a long gain, deep shot for Dave Szymanski. That's one of the biggest breaks we've seen here in this game. That's the 2nd boxcars or snake eyes or boxcar roll that we have seen that has ended up in a long gain. Jeremy Hill had a 50-yard end run, and now we see a huge reception there to Darren Sproles. His first catch, nice per catch average of 71 yards. So defense was double teaming elsewhere, but they had a linebacker in the zone, and yet they're still able to make the play. So Carson Wentz takes this first carry up the middle, and he's not able to pick up anything. So again, doesn't hurt. Nobody's going to turn away a nice break like that. The only chance to get that pass completed was to dial up a 2 on Carson Wentz's card, and that's what he got. So perfect timing. So instantly The Eagles are going to get him a score here unless we see a turnover. And that'll cut this game to 1 score. The question is, are they going to get a touchdown or a field goal out of this? So 18 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Things are definitely looking up for the Eagles on the heels of that 71-yard reception from Darren Sproles. Carson Wentz now has gone over the 200-yard mark on that play. He's been big. This is his rookie card, too. Here's a run for Sproles, and the defense keys him, so that's going to be a loss of 1. So that's going to end it here in the third quarter. But the Eagles are on the doorstep. As we head our way into the fourth, they're trailing 23-14 to the Cincinnati Bengals in this SFFRL title game. Dave Szymanski is coaching the Eagles, and this is Dennis Crowley coaching the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been in this title game 4 times. This is his 4th appearance, 3 title games in a row. He has won 1 and lost 2. Dave Szymanski has never played in one of these championship contests. We're playing Stock Team 2016 season. These are the real Eagles. These are the real Bengals. Defense goes with a 3-3-5, 3-wide set for the Eagles. That's Green Beckham there in the slot. Sproles is in the backfield. Dangerous receivers. We just saw a 71-yard reception. He's being guarded by a 5. Here comes an inside run for Darren Sproles. Defense is double teaming Jordan Matthews, so this is guessed wrong, and he's able to pick up 4, but that is it. So no 4th down and goal, ball at the 3. Eagles have somewhat of a decision to make here. Does he just settle for 3 and hope he can turn the Bengals back over again like he did on the last drive? Be a very risky call to not come away with points here. I have to think you're going to kick this thing through and try to get that ball back. Be a shame to get this far and not put some points on the board, at least cut this to 1 score. But Szymanski is thinking about it. I think there are 2 sides to this. When you're facing up against a coach like Dennis Crowley, who has a lot of championship trophies, one wonders if he thinks this could be the last chance that I get in this sort of a situation, that I can cut this league down to a field goal. And he is going to go for it. Wow, gutsy call. 2 tight end set. Ryan Matthews is back in the backfield. So the defense counters with a 3-3-5. If he's thinking about running, he does have a strong offensive line. He would probably run to the right, where the defense isn't particularly strong. He's got a couple of 5s on that side. He's got a 5. And the offensive line, rushing-wise, looks terrific. So I could see him trying this up the middle with Ryan Matthews, but at the same time, I could also see Crowley calling run here. And here comes a pass to Jordy Matthews, or Ryan Matthews, actually. No, it's to Jordy Matthews, and Matthews cannot make the play. So the defense guessed run, but with 4 men in the zone, a defender X or 15 rating came up, and it was a white die 4 reading, and Matthews was guarded by, I believe, a 4 or a 5 on that play, and the pass falls incomplete. So a bad break for Szymanski. A 71-yard bomb, all for naught. The Bengals now have the ball deep in their own territory at the 3, but Dennis Crowley certainly smiling now. Dodged a huge bullet there. And now the order is to get some more clock. Take some of that clock away. Trailing by 9. Here's a run up the middle for Jeremy Hill. That's 18 carries for 92 yards, closing in on the century mark. 50 of those came on 1 carry, so the other carries are 17 for only 42 yards. So without that big run, a pretty average day to say the least, but that's a big run counts, doesn't it? Just like Giovanni Bernard's 33-yard run. Again, that's been the story. 30 carries for Bengal running backs. Only a dozen throws. Only a dozen throws for the Bengals until that play. They dial up a deep shot, guessed wrong, and that's what the setup has been all about. Running, and now we're going to go over the top with A.J. Green. Guessed wrong. He has a great guessed wrong card. 51-yard pickup on the play, and he has now flipped the field. Dalton throwing from his own end zone. Completes the pass to all-world A.J. Green. That's his second catch for 61 yards. He does have a score. A.J. Green, phenomenal. 12 of 13 for 149 yards. Made the passes that he needed to. And there's a pass that falls incomplete to Jeremy Hill. And it's now 2nd down and 10 with the ball at the Eagle 43. 12 and change to go here in this SFFRL championship. Bengals with the ball and the lead, up 23-14 against the Eagles. Dave Szymanski, first championship appearance in 11 seasons of the league. Dennis Crowley is in his 4th title game. He's won 1 and lost 2. Been in the last 3 championship games. Here's a slant pass to Uzma. Defense guesses wrong, but it's on the defensive card, and the pass falls incomplete. So dancing between the raindrops there, that certainly would have been a reception nearly on any other part of that card with that white die 6 reading. But it's now 3rd down and 10 with the ball at the 43. So if they don't convert here, at the very least, they're going to flip the field, throw them from the shadow of their own end zone. They now find themselves in Eagle territory. 3rd down and 10. Here comes a pass for Uzma, and defense double teams him. Doesn't matter, though. 4 men in the zone. The pass falls incomplete. And again, Bengals will punt. And it's a deep punt, and it's actually going to be caught at the 8, I believe. Nope, he lets it drop. Nope, fair catch, I see. So Sproles lets it drop, fair catch. So from one extreme to the other, the Bengals took over their own drive at the 3. Now the Eagles take over at the 8. So a long, long field for the Eagles. 11:42, lots of time here in the 4th quarter. But they're trailing by 9. So here comes a pass to Ertz. Defense calls pass. And that's on Wentz's card, and that's a nice pickup of 17 on the play. So a flat pass, you get that short gain on 3. Nice pickup of 17. That moves the chains. Ball at the 25-yard line of Philadelphia. Just over 11 to play here in the 4th quarter. Eagles trailing 23-14. And there's an off-tackle run for Ryan Matthews. Nice pickup of 6 on the play. 2nd down and 4. 9 carries so far for Matthews. 58 yards, 6 yards a carry. Looking strong. Matthews is still in the game. 2 tight end set. Defense again counters 3-3-5. They're double teaming 2 receivers here, including Jordan Matthews, but it's an inside run for Ryan Matthews. He expects to pick up some yards, and he does. 14 on the play. We see the double box scar. That'll add another 10 to that play because a linebacker was not moved up into the zone. And so just like that, ball's at the 45-yard line. So the Eagles looking strong on this drive. Now have to have some points on this drive. Here comes a slant pass to Burton. Defense guesses run. And that's a 9-yard pickup for Burton. Leading receiver so far for those Eagles. 6 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. Wentz, the rookie card Wentz, 17 for 26, 245 yards. So it's been an exceptional day for Carson. Franchise quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, coming back this year from ACL surgery in real life. He'll have a pretty solid card here in the 2017 set. We're still using the 2016 group. There's a run for Barner that's not going to go anywhere. Defense correctly keys him. And so now it's 3rd down and 2. Ball at the Cincinnati 47. 8 and change to go. So let's see what happens on this play, but we're probably looking at 4 down territory. Likely we'll see another run. Maybe a sneak to Wentz. Hard to pick on this Bengal defense. 2 5s in the linebacker zone. There is a 4 there to the right, so maybe we'll see a flat pass there. Defense is double teaming Trey Burton on this play. And here comes a pass to Ertz. He is able to haul it in. 7-yard pickup on Carson Wentz's card. And again, another first down. 252 yards now for Carson here in this contest. 8:06 on a running clock. Ball at the Bengals 40. Maybe a little bit more urgency here for the Eagles. How many more runs are we going to see that's going to continue to munch that clock? Eagles got to get a score and got to get one here pretty quickly. Trailing by 9. Dave Szymanski looking for his first SFFRL title. Here's a quick in to Burton. That's going to be a huge pickup. 23 yards on the play, 0 men in the zone on a white die 6. It was guessed wrong, but regardless, 23-yard pickup for Burton. Fantastic game. 7 catches for 79 yards for the reserve tight end. 275 now for Wentz, so he looks almost like a shoe-in to pick up 300 in this game. In the draft leagues, you just don't see that. These stock team leagues, sometimes maybe this is the way to go. It's just so hard to play with a stock team that's lousy and to stay committed to it. But 275 yards now. Here comes a run for Ryan Matthews. Defense guesses pass. Ooh, he just misses that short game, but he does pick up 6 on the play. 6:54 on a running clock. So the Eagles are more likely than not headed to a score that's going to cut this margin down from 9. I doubt we'll see him go for it on 4th down again. Very gutsy call on their last drive, but it did not wind up coming through for him. On a 4th down and 3, he chose to pass. Pass ball's incomplete. So rather than taking the free 3 points, he decides to go for 6 and gets burned. But a lot of coaches would have made that call. And sometimes the coach that you're playing against helps you make that decision. There is a sack. So Wentz is hauled down for the 2nd time in the game, and that is Carlos Dunlap, the lone pressure threat for the Bengals. That's his 2nd sack of the game, and now it's 3rd and 9. Ball at the Bengals 16. 6:36 to go. The Eagles have already missed 1 field goal from Caleb Sturgis. He makes that field goal. Maybe Szymanski makes a different choice there on 4th down and 3 here earlier in the 4th quarter. Who knows? But if he gets this first down, we don't worry about Caleb Sturgis, at least for the time being. So kicking problems on both clubs, actually. Sturgis missing a field goal. Randy Bullock had an extra point blocked, and that's why you see that awkward 23-14 score. 2 tight end set again. Eagles have been running this nearly throughout. 3-3-5. That's pretty much all we've seen from the Bengals. 3rd down and 9. You got Zach Ertz guarded by a 4. Got Jordan Matthews guarded by a 4. Green Beckham is being guarded by a 5. Probably won't see that. This is not really a good flat pass area to expect to pick up 9. And here comes that slant pass to Trey Burton. There are 4 men in the zone on the play. It is on Wentz's card. No, it's on the defensive card. Excuse me. It's an 11-yard pickup. So that's a nice break. Nice break for the Eagles, and they'll pick up 11 on the play and another first down. So with 6 minutes to go, here we go again. Ball at the Bengals 5. Last time Smolinski drove this far, went for it on 4th and 3, and was unable to connect on a pass to the end zone. And now they find themselves again on the doorstep, hoping for certainly different results. 3-3-5 defense again put in for the Bengals. $286 yards passing for Wentz, 21 of 29, an outstanding game. But just as solid, Trey Burton, 8 catches for 90 yards. Here's a pitch to Sproles. Defense guesses pass, and he's going to march into the end zone for a touchdown. So now this lead is going to be cut to 3, 23-20. And they're going to go ahead and kick this extra point. And so the 32-yard attempt goes through the pipes, and it is now a 2-point game, 23-21. So a nice drive there, deep in their own territory, 92-yard drive. And it didn't take them a lot of time to get there. So a 3-and-out is not necessary. A couple of possessions here. They can get the ball back with 2 minutes, but they definitely have to stop them on this set of downs or perhaps the next. They do have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. So now we see Rex Burkhead in the backfield. So they have definitely mixed it up. Burkhead has some short gains, I believe, on guess wrong. So you got to be careful. But then you have a weapon like A.J. Green, and if you guess wrong, that's almost an automatic catch on a receiver reading. So this is why both of these clubs are in the championship at this point. This is up to Dave Szymanski to try to read the mind of one Dennis Crowley. Has lots of championships in his back pocket, but he has played exceptionally well today. And there is that off-tackle run for Burkhead. It's on the defensive car, and he picks up 7. So a nice start for the Bengals as they try to exhaust as much clock as they can. Up 23-21 in this SFFRL title game. Bengals stay with that I formation. (23-21). Bengals ahead. There is another run for Bernard. Excuse me, that was a pass attempt. And it's a loss of 3, but on a look-in pass, that is considered an incomplete pass. That was on Andy Dalton's card. So the defense guessed pass on that play. Boy, it would be tempting to guess run here, and it certainly would on this play. There's that free safety sticking out like a sore thumb. I'm guessing defense will call run, and maybe they'll move that free into the flat pass zone and say, if you're going to go throw to A.J. Green, go for it. Again, that's Burkhead in the backfield. Andy Dalton now cooled a little bit. 12 of 17. He hit his first 11 passes. (12 of 17 for 149 yards and a score to A.J. Green, who has 2 catches. And there is that run. And defense guesses run, but they don't bring anybody up to support. And that's a pickup of 7 on the play. Tyler Eifert at tight end is able to make the block on that off-tackle run. So move the chains and, more importantly, move the clock. Clock is running. 4:12 to go here in the fourth quarter. Bengals up 23-21. Defense might be able to, after this play, begin calling timeouts. That's Rex Burkhead, the lone back, 2 tight end set. And there's an off-tackle run. Defense guesses pass, and Burkhead is going to make his way up the middle and carry this ball all the way to the Eagles' 28-yard line. And that was a run for 33 yards. Again, snake eyes roll. No linebackers in the zone, and it's the longest gain you can have on that card, 33 yards. So a bad break for Szymanski. More importantly, the chains are moved, and now the Eagles definitely are in field goal range at the very least. But a field goal doesn't help them here. Really, their MO is to take as much time off the clock as they can. So Burkhead now with 92 yards. He also is closing in on 100. There is a button hook pass to Burkhead, and he picks up 4 on the play. So 92 yards on the ground. And that's his first reception, actually, 4 yards. So almost 100 all-purpose yards for the Nebraska rarely used back. More of a third down specialist. Certainly a low usage back. But Dennis Crowley knows how to use these second and third running backs. He gets the most out of his talent. He doesn't always have the most talented players on the field, but there's a reason why he's there at the end. One of the exceptional coaches in this great hobby, Stratomatic football. Very soon they will be releasing the 2017 version of the game. Everybody's excited. It's time to play. It's time to draft. There's a pass to Tyler Eifert that falls incomplete. So now it's 3rd down and 6. But again, this is that little middle area that you can't just by default call pass. So Dave Szymanski needs to put his thinking cap on here. And, of course, you also have this. Perhaps this is 4-down territory for Crowley, although that would be really gutsy if they didn't make it. They're only up by 2. So you would have to think he would call it on Bullock to try to put this game to a touchdown's length. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just go here with 3rd down and 6, ball at the 24-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles, 2:42. The clock has stopped. We've not seen this very often. This is the 3-3-5 set where the Bengals have trotted on Tyler Boyd, seldom used wide receiver. He also is guarded by a 0. In fact, all of the wide receivers are guarded by 0s. And there's a quick out to Tyler Eifert, and he gets just enough yards for the 1st down. And that might take us to the 2-minute warning, or that'll put us to 2:06, I believe. Actually, defense calls timeout there, so they're going to try to preserve a little bit more clock. That's smart because you get the 2-minute warning after this play if it's in the field of scrimmage. So 2:14 to go, 23-21. The ball now rests at the Eagles' 16. So the Bengals come out in a full house backfield on this first play. Don't be surprised if we see a pass here to A.J. Green, even though the free safety will fly into whatever zone they're going to throw. Guess Strong is kind of dangerous, so he can do just about anything out of this formation. And there's a run to Giovanni Bernard, and he picks up 7 on the play. Defense was thinking pass. In fact, they were double-teaming A.J. Green. So with 2:24 to go, the Eagles will call another timeout. So that leaves them the 2-minute warning and their remaining timeout. So if they're able to stop them on these next 2 plays, they will get the ball back with about 1:45, or actually 1:52. And now it's super important to stop this. And they do on this play. So a nice call. Defense guesses run. Bernard is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. So it's now 3rd down and 3 in one of the biggest calls of the game. Eagles are trailing 23-21. Bengals on the doorstep. Ball at the 9. But more importantly, it's 3rd down and 3. Eagles stay with that full house formation. Bengals with that full house formation. Eagles revert to a 4-3. So what do you do here? It was in this area on their last scoring drive, I believe, that they threw to A.J. Green, but instead here's a pitch out to Bernard, and he is stopped. So defense again guesses run correctly and successfully. And it's now 4th down and 3. And Dennis and the Bengals have decided, let's just go ahead and put this one through and make it a touchdown game. Bullock puts it through from 25 yards out, and the Bengals have now extended their lead to 26-21. But the Eagles will get the ball back. With 1:45, however, they do not have a timeout. That's a very short kick. That may have been a squib kick. Yeah, the ball lands at the 29, so the Eagles will take over in good field position with the ball at the 36. So the up man picked it up and went 7 yards, which is actually kind of a bad break. That was tight end Trey Burton. He's only able to manage 7 yards on that. But, again, good field position. Ball at the 36. But it's touchdown or bust for Dave Szymanski and his Philadelphia Eagles as they trail 26-21 with 1:37. No timeouts remaining. Here comes a pitch to Darren Sproles. The defense guesses pass. Will Sproles be able to – oh, wow, just missed the short gain. He is able to make it out of bounds. So that play only took 7 minutes off the clock. He just missed a short gain. The only detrimental thing on his card was a dreaded 5. Tom Cook, Stratomatic fanatic, coined the phrase the dreaded 5, and that's what we see there. Nice call. It just didn't work out. Second down and 10, ball at the 36-yard line, 35, up 36. Two tight end set again. Here it comes a quick out to Zach Ertz. It is guessed right. It only picks up 4 on the play, and Ertz does not make it out of bounds, so the clock will run. They'll play hurry up, and then it'll leave them 1:07 to go. Third down and 6, ball at the 40. $107 on a running clock. Two tight end set again. Maybe we see an end run here again for Darren Sproles. And there it comes, a pitch out to Darren Sproles. It's guessed wrong, and once again, oh, what terrible luck and double bad luck as he's tackled in the field of play, and he gets no gain on the play. He rolls 2 consecutive 5s. That's just horrible luck. And so now it's 4th down and 6. So this is basically the ball game with 45 seconds to go. Nickel 3-3-5 for Dennis. 2 tight end set for the Eagles. Great calls from Szymanski. It's just he's had rotten luck. This will not be a run. Got to try to find a way to the sticks for a first down. Wentz has been outstanding in this game. Does he have one more good throw in him? Here comes a pass to Zach Ertz. And it's going to be a big pickup of 23 yards on the play. Nicely done, 23 yards. So that was a pressure pass, and this time he finds Darren Sproles. So he pulled it down, looks for Sproles, and with no man in the zone, he had the best reading you possibly could have, or certainly one of the better ones. So a 23-yard pickup, so new life for the Eagles. But that clock continues to roll at 37. He was able to make his way out of bounds, so there's you a double break, actually. So a big pickup on the play. So new life for Philadelphia and Dave Szymanski. 37 seconds to go. Clock is stopped. Ball at the Cincinnati 37. Eagles trailing 26-21. Nail biter here in this SFFRL title game. Both coaches have been outstanding. Here comes a slant pass to Burton. Defense guesses pass. Wentz is going to have to pull it down, and he runs it right into the middle of the line for no gain. And that clock is going to continue to roll. That should leave them with 15 seconds left. And that's not going to leave them much of time for anything. So that's a very poor break. You just wish that pass would have been incomplete rather than tucking it and running it. Wentz has been outstanding in this game, 22 for 31. You've got to throw downfield, and on this case, the must run comes back to bite him. I think Szymanski's losing the math in his head. There we go. Now, so with the ball at the 15, back to the 2 tight end set. Probably going to have to see 2 deep shots here. He already has 1 big gain in this play, a long pass to Darren Sproles. But Ryan Matthews is in the contest now. And here comes a pitch out to Matthews. This is kind of dangerous here, as he is going to get 6 yards, and he just makes it out of bounds. That would have ended the game. That absolutely would have ended the game. So nice break for Szymanski. But with 8 seconds to go, we aren't going to see anything else but 2 long passes at this point. So a sigh of relief for Szymanski as he is able to get – actually, had he not made it out of bounds, there may have been a chance that they would have given him 1 more second. So they would have 1 shot. But now they've got 2 basically at the end zone. So Szymanski's going to look over that wide receiver group and try to figure out who would give them the best shot at 6. Because at this point, it's going to be 2 throws into the end zone. You cannot risk a short pass here because if the pass is caught in the field of play, it is going to be over with. They'll have no chance to stop the clock. So 8 seconds, they've got to go for broke here. The Bengals are either going to start double teaming some of these receivers, or they're going to try to bring the heat and get one more sack on Carson to end this game. Who among the Eagles has the 31-yard catch to win this game? Carson Wentz has been outstanding, throwing for over 300 yards. Does he have one more big pass in him? The SFFRL championship on the line. Dave Szymanski and his Eagles, his first appearance in 11 championship games against Dennis Crowley. He's playing in his 4th. 1 win, 2 losses. He's been in the title game the last 3 years. Defense counters here 3-2-6. So do they leave 2 men in the zone and almost assuredly have an incomplete pass, or do they start double teaming some players? That's the downside to this, because Wentz's long pass card only has 1 completion on it. It's a 2, and it's a long gain. He's already hit it once. Can he find that magic twice? At this point, it's got to be a receiver rating. So you got to find the kind of players who can actually haul in a 31-yard catch. Agador is not a good long-distance receiver. Really, it's probably Jordy Matthews. So will Dennis double Matthews and leave 1 man in the zone? I would have to think that's what he's going to do. I think he'll bring those linebackers up, take one of those free safeties, and double team Matthews. The waning seconds of this game, 8 of them, 8 precious seconds. A sack here ends the game. An incomplete pass, and we've got 1 more. A completed pass, and we may have the winning score. Here comes a pass to Jordy Matthews. Defense is double teaming Trey Burton. There are 2 men in that long pass zone. This is a bomb, and it is going to be picked off at the goal line. And it's into the end zone, and so that's going to end the game. So that was pretty much their only shot, with 2 men in that defensive zone. The only thing they could have hoped for is a receiver reading on Wentz's card, and it just didn't come through. So Andy Dalton is going to take a knee, and so congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals, the SFFRL champions. And Dennis Crowley has won his 2nd title in 4 seasons in the SFFRL. So congratulations to Dennis, and Dave Szymanski makes his first championship appearance. Congratulations to you for taking the Eagles to the title game 1 year before they made it in real life. So congratulations to you as well. This was an excellent game and a nail-biter all the way to the stretch. Your final score, Cincinnati Bengals, your SFFRL champions, 26, and the runner-up Philadelphia Eagles, coached by Dave Szymanski, with 21. We'll look at the stats here momentarily. You can see the box score. Again, both these clubs were able to move the ball up and down the floor here, up and down the court, up and down the field, up and down the pitch, if you will. 21 and 22 first downs, actually pretty effective on 4th down, 42%. 3rd down, 42% for the Eagles, 55% for the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton, sharp, 14 of 20, 70% of those passes completed for 161 yards and a touchdown. The rookie card, Carson Wentz, excellent performance today. 22 catches, 22 attempts, 22 catches out of 32 attempts for 313 yards. His main target for the day was reserve tight end Trey Burton, or your 2nd tight end, 8 catches for 80 yards. His tight end buddy, 6 catches for 69 yards. That is Zach Ertz, who most people know more. A pretty weak performance from the wide receivers. Jordan Matthews, 2 catches for 25 yards. Darren Sproles, though, 2 catches for 94 yards, including a 71-yard reception. On the ground, Ryan Matthews, 12 catches for 84 yards. His backfield mates, though, kind of let him down. Darren Sproles, 7 runs for only 10 yards. On that last drive, he had a couple of end runs that could have netted some big yards, but just didn't catch breaks on either one of them. And Kenyon Barker, a little used running back, with 2 carries for no yards. Wentz on that last drive was forced to a must run on a pass and was stopped as well. So they were really snake bitten when it came to running on that last drive, and they really needed it. The Bengals dominated on the ground. 18 carries for 92 yards for Jeremy Hill, 10 carries for 92 yards for Rex Burkhead, and 8 carries for 56 yards for Giovanni Bernard. The all-world wide receiver A.J. Green, only 2 catches, 461 yards, but they were both big. One flipped the field, and the other gave the Bengals a touchdown. Tyler Eifert, 5 catches for 44 yards. Jeremy Hill, 4 catches for 32. So their wide receivers only caught 3 passes in this game. LaFell only hauled in 1 catch for 15 yards. So if you look up here in rushing, clearly dominating this game, 6.3 yards per carry compared to 4.2 for the Eagles, and 244. When's the last time you've seen that? 244 yards on the ground. This looks like a game from the 60s or the 70s. This doesn't look like modern NFL. 244 yards on the ground. But then on the other hand, the Eagles dominated through the air, passing for well over 300 yards. In fact, there it is right there, yards passing, 161 yards to the Bengals, 301 yards for the Eagles. No turnovers in this game. Kind of interesting. As you can see, both the clubs were able to maintain control of the ball and without turnovers, either manage scores or deep punts, both clubs only punting 3 times. Defensively, the star for the Bengals, Riley Dunlop, with 2 key sacks in this game, the only 2 sacks for either of the clubs. And don't really see anything else statistically wise. A couple things that stick out like sore thumbs. The kicker, Caleb Sturgis, missed a field goal from 40 yards out. Randy Bullock had an extra point that was missed, but the key turning point of the game was when the Eagles drove early in the 4th quarter, deep into Bengals territory. On a 4th and 3, they chose not to kick a field goal and instead went for a touchdown and Carson Wentz's pass, of which not a lot of them hit the turf, but this one just happened to, and incomplete pass, giving the ball back to the Bengals. They were trailing by 9 at that point. You put a field goal up there and could have changed the complexion of this game just a little bit. They fall short today, 26-21. It was well coached by both clubs. I thought the Eagles did a great job of keeping that pass down, and the Bengals caught some good breaks on run calls. But that was the MO for the Bengals and for Dennis Crowley. He sees a team with zeros in the secondary and instead chooses to run. So there go those Dennis Crowley mind games, but that's why he wins trophies. That's why he wins championships, and that's why he comes home with the one today, his second SFFRL title game. So congratulations to Dennis Crowley. And I'm going to send a note that if he wants to talk, I'll let him know. Let's send him a note here real quick and see if he wants to talk. If not, we're going to wrap up this broadcast. If you want to talk, I just emailed the link to you. So both the clubs are still communicating here just a little bit, or hugging it out, or whatever the word you want to call it. But these are long seasons, 16 games, and you're all into this, and to come up short in a championship, it's kind of discouraging. But Dennis is such a supporting person when it comes to coaches in these leagues, and I'm sure that he's talking it out with them now.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
You are
So,
the champion, my friend. What's going on, man?
so how about that for an exciting Super Bowl? That was pretty cool, huh?
Very good game. I enjoyed it all around because it was nothing like I expected. Because I saw an Eagles secondary that was just filled with goose eggs, and yet you decided to keep it on the ground.
Well, you saw how he calls the game. He's like 3-3-5, double double everywhere. That was not a reflection of the team, but more a reflection of the coach.
Right, right.
There's just no way um, that you want to be throwing into those double double teams all the time.
Right, right. And I think, too, that has something to do with why you keep winning championships. You don't play to the cards, you play to the coach. You adapt and just play according to the way that person calls and know that you've got personnel sets that can take advantage of that. I mean, this is not modern NFL numbers when you've rushed for over 250 yards and averaged six yards per carry.
That's what he
gave you.
Right, that's what he gave me. And then I think the other thing is I did get lucky. I mean, I had the 50-yarder to Jeremy Hill early, and then a couple of 33-yarders on Snake Eyes.
That's right.
Snake Eyes played a big part. You saw that third down and long that he hit the only thing he could hit was the Snake Eyes long gain, and he got plus 71.
Unbelievable.
So,
yeah,
I think he's probably kicking himself for not taking those 3 points, because this game would have been totally different in the end if he was only trailing by 2 instead of trailing by 5-5.
I just, and it's funny because, again, it's just a game, okay? It's just a game. But sometimes you do pay attention to the other coach, and you've been on a good streak here these last 3 or 4 years, let's be honest. And probably in his mind, he's thinking, I'm going to make this a field goal game down the stretch because who knows, he's moving the ball down the field pretty effectively against me. And if he gets 3, what good is it going to do me? So let's just go ahead and take our shot at it. I think the bigger play also, too, was the play right after that where, you didn't get a score on that, but you flipped the field and made him have to take a lot of clock to get that last field goal. That was big. That was huge, too.
Yeah, but when you're down by 9, you got to take the points. You're down by 2 scores. You got to give yourself a shot to get a stop and a score to tie it up. So, yes, I can see what you're saying, that maybe he was thinking that. But that doesn't mean it was right.
No, I agree. But I'll tell you this. It also has to do, again, with the personnel that he has. If you've got a quarterback that guessed wrong, you're talking like a Brady, you're talking about like a Matt Ryan in this set, Breeze, some of those quarterbacks where you know that 75% of the time or more that you're going to get a short pass completion, I say you go for it, but not on Carson Wentz's card. It's very hollow. So, yeah, I can see why you would take the 3 there.
And not disparaging Dave. I mean,
not at all.
This is not a great Eagles team, and he knocked off my Seahawks. He knocked off the other top seeds in the NFC. The Saints, I think he beat. So he had a heck of a run, and I think he won like 11 or 12 games in the regular season.
Yeah.
So he was 12-4, which was the number 3 seed. Number 4 seed. We had a 13-3, 13-3, and 14-2 team, but he beat all those teams. He got through them, and then that offense is so tough to stop, especially when you have really bad run defense, which the Bengals do. Yep. So that was a fun game. I mean, it was really exciting. I can't wait to hear the call because I'm sure that you were like, wow, this is, what a time for that 4th and 6, and he got the dump off for 23 and got out of bounds. It's like, what?
Exactly. He would get double bad breaks where he would call the end run and get nothing and not get out of bounds. Then he turned around and got the double break to get the 23 and to get out of bounds. I mean, it was a crazy last minute. The sack was huge, though. That was the killer.
Yeah, that was came at the perfect time. So
yes, it did. Yes, it did. But, I mean, hey, for him to grind out 313 yards in a title game, 1 and 2, this is not the Super Bowl team. This is the team from the season before where he basically got a rookie Wentz who has a lot of holes on his passing card. And to get 12 wins out of this club with all of those zeros in the secondary, that's fantastic coaching. He did outstanding.
But his offense works. I mean, I think if you can commit to running the ball, when you have all those running backs, look at those guest run columns on Matthews' card, on Barner's card, on Sproul's card, even Wendell Smallwood, which he didn't use at all today. All those guys can run guest wrong. So you have to call run a lot. That makes Wentz's card play like a quality quarterback card. So
Yeah,
I tried to throw it against him, against those zeros with the Seahawks, and he snuffed me out. I think he beat me like 20. I'll tell you the score. It was 24-6, and I was the #1 seed. So just a great job by Dave. And that defense, trying to move the ball against his defense is tough.
He should be very proud. I mean, there's just a couple of breaks that could have gone either way. And I was talking during the broadcast because, I mean, this is the 2016 set, which if this was a washcloth, we've pretty much wrung every drop out of this. It's almost like you know these cards by memory now.
Yeah.
You know that Wendell Smallwood has a good card. You know that Garner has a good short, again, these are like limited usage cards. He just didn't catch any breaks with any of them. Sproles had like 7 carries for 10 yards. He just kept missing those short gains. There's some breaks.
Yeah, that was really fortunate too. Like you said, he kept rolling those 5s when he could have got some short gains and really put the pressure on me on that last drive.
The breaks were equally distributed. No turnovers. So there's nothing like, if this would have happened or that would have happened. The cards played out. The coaching played out. It was a great game, though. It's a super championship.
Yeah, just to let you know, the Eagles in the playoffs, they gave up 13, 6, and 13 points before this game.
Wow.
That's amazing with all those zeros on defense.
That's really amazing. That's really amazing. He's not and that's just it. I mean, what was his defensive cards for those Eagles? Were they average or poor?
I think they're average to, let me see. I know they're average to poor against the pass, but sometimes those descriptions are a little bit misleading. Let me, you can't just go by the words. You got to look at the cards. I mean, you might get a poor pass defense because you don't have high interception chances, but there's a lot of blanks on there. So let's see. The Eagles notebook, he is average to good against the run and average to poor against the pass.
Okay.
So.
Wow. Yeah, Dalton was 11 for 11. His first start, it took forever for him to have an incomplete. Kind of cooled off there in the second half, but that big pass to Green, that was huge. If just to flip the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
awesome.
Game. There were snake eyes and boxcar breaks for both these clubs. There's not one where it's like, gosh, he just never got any rolls. I mean, it was equally distributed. It was just a great game. We could have played this again. It could have gone the other direction very easily.
Yeah, or it could have been a blowout either way too. That's the thing about this. When you play stock teams, you never can know what's going to happen. So any given Sunday.
How many teams did you have in this league?
All 32.
I mean, how many did you play personally?
I only played 2. I played the Bengals in the AFC and the Seahawks in the NFC. There were some teams, like 3 or 4, that didn't have human coaches. Okay. And for those, we just simulated those games.
Yeah, that's fine. Any sim teams actually make it to the playoffs?
The Bears came close at 8-8, but nobody really made it.
That's interesting. I like that. That's kind of fun when the computer comes out of nowhere to win one, or you're kicking yourself when you lose it to them as well. But the Bears weren't that bad at.
I think actually the Bears should have made it on a tiebreak, but I said no. There's nobody coaching them, so I just went to the next team.
Yeah, they weren't able to fight it. So I think that's a great idea. Excellent game. I appreciate the chance to bring this one. I think the broadcast will be pretty good. We'll see.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Dennis.
All right, have a great Sunday, and thanks again for all your help on this stuff.
Thank you, Dennis. We'll see you in the draft here pretty soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye-bye. Well, that's going to wrap it up. So that's our final score. Again, congratulations to Dennis Crowley in the SFFRL Championship. 26-21, winner over Dave Szyminski. Dave Szyminski's first appearance in the title game. Nothing to be ashamed of. Took just a so-so team to the title game, and Bengals, basically Dennis Crowley, took a so-so team to the title game. Just 5 points better in this title game. So congratulations to Crowley. That's his second SFFRL Championship in 4 tries. Dennis, congratulations to you. Another trophy for that trophy case. And Dave Szyminski, congratulations to you as well. And we will see you in the fall league. So I'm going to wrap it up. This is Michael Reeves. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy this broadcast. I wish everybody happy Sunday, and God bless to everyone. Take care.